All right, couple huge college football games. I don't start with college football much. Let me talk about this. Notre Dame plays Bama right after our show. Notre Dame's going to lose. Bigly. It's the year of bigly. They're going to lose bigly. And that's going to be okay, but SEC fans are going to point fingers. Overrated. No, what's overrated has been everybody in the SEC for the last 10 years not named Alabama. Let's take the last 5 years. Here's some Saban stats for you. He's 39-3 against the SEC. Average margin of victory, 20 points. But, Colin, that's counting the dogs in the conference. Okay, let's go to the big old Southern boys, Florida. Last 7 meetings against Florida, Nick Saban 7-0. Average margin of victory, 22 points. Georgia, on my mind. Okay, last decade, 5-0 against Georgia, 2 touchdowns, the average score. Never been an SEC coach to go to the NFL and crush. A lot of good players, not a lot of great coaches. Spurrier bombed in the NFL, so did Saban. It's a mostly lousy coach conference with unbelievable players. But you know who isn't afraid of Alabama? Clemson. Last 4 times they've met, they've split 2-2, and Bama's got a negative point differential. Clemson's also faced 10 times a team not called Alabama in the SEC. They're 9-1 against the SEC as Clemson, most by blowouts. Notre Dame has higher academic standards. It's harder to get in. Most of Bama and LSU's classes would struggle to get in. They wouldn't qualify. It's hard there. It's an amazing, amazing school. For them to win 10 games is unbelievable. And they don't play Troy State 3 times at Notre Dame. They don't play the Citadel. No, they don't. Their out-of-conference games are like Stanford, USC, not top 10 programs currently, but teams with a history of putting great players in the NFL. They don't get that off week against Panera Bread, where they don't have to play starters and they get everybody healthy for the next week against Auburn. Everybody loves to point fingers every time Alabama rolls somebody. You know who they've been rolling for 12 years and humiliating? The SEC. Yes, this is Alabama's best team, arguably, and it's certainly their best offense. But 50 coaches have been fired since Saban's arrived. Auburn, how's that program doing? Just fired their coach and hired about the 8th choice. How's Tennessee? Bad, what else is new? South Carolina fired their coach. Florida just got rolled by Big 12 Oklahoma. Coach humiliated himself by saying game didn't count. Stop it. Nick Saban's the best college football coach ever. Don't point fingers today. Notre Dame winning 10 games in a remote, cold weather, academically rigid, with a religious awning hanging over it is unbelievably difficult. I say this about Northwestern and Stanford. You win 8 games, tip of the cap. It's different other places. Some places are college football powers. That's okay. I'm not blaming them. But let's just have context here. Notre Dame has played in the last couple of years Georgia. Played them twice. Georgia is the second best program in the SEC. It's a great school. It's a great, Athens is amazing. Unbelievable. If you've never been there, it's one of the great environments. I've been there twice. One of the great environments in college football. Notre Dame's played them twice. 20-19, 23-17. They've stacked up pretty good. When Notre Dame gets rolled today, don't point fingers. Have context. Everybody not named Clemson gets rolled by Alabama. They've got more good players. They can get them all in. They develop the hell out of them. And they got the best coach in college football history. Bama wins comfortably. But go ask Florida, Georgia, Texas A&M should have been in the playoff. You played Bama too and got destroyed. All right, so the other game I think is going to be really competitive. Joy does and I do. I think Ohio State's going to give Clemson problems. I like Ohio State's defensive front, and I don't love Clemson's offensive line, and I think Trevor Lawrence will be under duress. But what you are watching with Trevor Lawrence today, and it's why I think Clemson probably figures out a way to win close, is the best college football quarterback ever. And bruh, it ain't close. 34-1. Vince Young gets an argument. He threw 44 touchdown passes. Trevor has 88 and counting. Tim Tebow had 6 losses. didn't play much as a freshman, nor did Vince Young. As a freshman, Trevor Lawrence walked on the field and humiliated Nick Saban 44-16. He was 19 years old. And it wasn't an average game. You see, Nick had 3 top 22 players in the draft that year on defense. Nick had 6 weeks to prepare for him. And the 19-year-old ate Nick Saban's defense filled with elite NFL players alive. Trevor Lawrence is easily the greatest college football quarterback of all time. Just compare him to Vince Young and Tebow, who maybe go 2 and 3, or a Tommy Frazier. This is a 90-touchdown pass, unbelievable as a freshman. There has been no dip since. Oh, he lost to LSU. Yeah, a team that got 14 players, a record, drafted into the NFL, probably the greatest college football team of all time. The idea, Andrew Luck, I think, redshirted as a freshman. Trevor Lawrence threw 30 touchdowns, 4 picks, but it was the ACC. Let me remind you, he humiliated Nick Saban. You are looking at a kid, we'll never see this again. I don't think we'll ever see a kid this good. He will go into the NFL next year, and this will sound hyperbolic. He will be a top 12 quarterback in the NFL. Think I'm crazy? Justin Herbert already is. You ask every NFL and the GM, Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, Justin Herbert. It's not close. 32 of 32 take Herbert. I said when Zion Williamson came into the NBA, I said he will be, at some point in the first year, a top 25 player. I could not believe the pushback. He averaged over 22 points in 28 minutes. Have you seen Zion this year? He's a top 20 player production-wise in the NBA. So enjoy the games today. Yes, Alabama's going to roll Notre Dame like they've been doing to everybody in the SEC, everybody in college football not named Clemson for the last 12 years. And Ohio State's going to keep it close and probably not make it the most comfortable afternoon for Trevor Lawrence. But there's never been anything like that, ever. 34-1. And this year, he's not working with a very good offensive line, sans his left tackle, who's excellent. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.